Thanks for tuning to the Ontario ReShard Show. Today we have incredible music artist and songwriter joining us today to talk about their latest single, Funk and More. We have the one, the only, Morgan Starner. How you doing, Morgan?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's definitely an honor to have you on with us today. I know you could have been doing anything else. You could have been Netflixing, riding your bike, or whatever, but you're here with us today, so we definitely appreciate you sharing your time.
Thank you. Likewise. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
such an honor to be on your show.
Thank you. And then, of course, this is the first time you've been on the program. So, just to break the ice, who is Morgan away from the music?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I am born and raised in Colorado, and that is
Okay.
where I still live. So,
Hmm.
born and raised in Colorado, spent a little bit of time out in Boston for school.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I am a girl who loves her family. I have a little bit of a small family. I'm an only child,
Hmm.
but definitely
Hmm.
just very close with them and with all my cousins and my grandma.
Hmm.
And very close with my family. So love them. I love all kinds of music. Obviously,
Hmm.
I was very inspired by some of these funk records. I guess that's
Yes.
inside of music, but outside of music, I mean, I love everything here in Colorado. Love going to the mountains. I love playing volleyball. I do some beach volleyball. And yeah, I just love the Lord. Found him
Hmm.
during college, which
Hmm.
was super exciting and totally
Hmm.
totally new and
Hmm.
amazing and has taken me so many different places. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
And I got to ask now, you experienced growing up in Colorado. You also lived in Boston, Massachusetts. In your opinion, who has the coldest winters?
Ooh, I think Boston.
That's what I was thinking. Just like, that could be a toss up, but we'll just have to ask. But
Yeah.
because so moving along, of course, I gotta ask, what inspired you to even get into music? Because music can be a roller coaster sometimes when it comes to, I guess, the behind the scene things. Of course, it's a lot of good days and it's a lot of days you have to kind of maneuver around a lot of different obstacles. So, like, what inspired you to even want to get into music? Was it a certain person or a certain thing you saw on TV, or what was it?
Mm. Yeah, I started singing. I mean, as long as I can remember, I always loved to sing. And
Hmm.
then I started taking some voice lessons here around town when I was 11
Hmm.
and
Okay.
just doing recitals and singing.
Hmm.
I remember I did Alicia Keys for my first recital, and I always wanted to pick the hardest song. I was like, I want to do the hardest song I can. So I did
Hmm.
Whitney, I did Adele, I did all the songs that
Hmm.
just really challenged me, and I just fell in love with it. But
Hmm.
just saw it, okay, like I have a cool hobby, and
Hmm.
just went along with that during high school. And I remember actually telling one of my math teachers, I really liked math in school, and I remember telling him, all right, well, why don't we talk like I think maybe for my future I'll do some sort of engineering or something in that world. And he goes, Morgan, why don't you do music? It's like the third triangle when it comes to math, languages,
Hmm.
and music. He said it all goes together. And that was like one of the first times that someone outside of my family and outside of some people that were in the music world saying, "Morgan, you should do music," because they had heard me sing, in musicals and things. And I was like, wow, okay, this might be realistic. And for a long time, I shoved that down. I was like, no,
Hmm.
this is not a realistic path for me. Everybody
Hmm.
was saying, starving artist, starving musician, everything like
Hmm.
that. And I wasn't sure. And for a long time, I shut that out.
Hmm.
And it was honestly, looking back, I know it was God because
Hmm.
even I didn't believe in myself at the time, but I
Wow.
decided coming out of high school to go to school for music. I went out to
Hmm.
Berkeley in Boston, and I didn't
Perfect.
have a big purpose for it at the time. Like I
Hmm.
said, I found the Lord while I was in college. So
Hmm.
it was kind of just like, okay, I want to sing. And then
Hmm.
I got there and I was like, oh wow, this is a lot. There was a lot of talent, everything, and I started
Yeah.
to get into the comparison, into
Hmm.
the insecurity of maybe this isn't for me.
Wow.
I didn't know theory, I didn't know a whole lot, so I just
Hmm.
showed up just knowing how to sing. And
Hmm.
there was about a year where I was thinking, I'm not gonna sing. And I even told my family,
Wow.
hey guys, I'm not gonna sing. Maybe I'll I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna maybe try to stay here, do the business route. I did study business while I was there, but um, I'm not gonna do this. And they were very,
Hmm.
very sad, of course.
Wow. I
And
bet. Yeah.
they always believed in me, but they were like, all right, like if that's what you want to do, that's what you
Hmm.
want to do. And it was actually after my first year, this was during 2020, that
Hmm.
the world shut down, of course, and I was
Yes.
left alone with coming home, coming back home from Boston, the crazy whirlwind
Hmm.
experience that it was, and
Hmm.
I was going through it. I was going through just a lot of hurt, a lot
Hmm.
of insecurity and self-doubt, and
Hmm.
those things actually pushed me towards the Lord when I didn't have a lot of perspective or
Hmm.
understanding of the Bible beforehand.
Hmm.
Suddenly I decided, okay, I need to pray. And I started to
Hmm.
pray, and I actually found the peace that I had been searching for in so many things.
Hmm.
And I was thinking,
Hmm.
okay, this is really something. And I started to read the Bible, and I read the Bible in a year, and I just thought, I I believe I believe in everything Jesus is saying. I believe in everything that he's done, that he died for my sins and rose from the dead.
Hmm.
I believe it. I believe it. And I just wanted to share that with the world. And for a while,
Hmm.
I was trying to figure out my purpose in the kingdom. Even though I was
Hmm.
still studying music, I was almost pushing that away still. I was like, God, I don't
Hmm.
know if it's music. I don't necessarily
Yes.
want it to be. And I just felt that call. He kept saying, but what if it is? What if it is?
Hmm.
And he definitely has been leading me this whole time to where I'm at. And today that is a Christian music artist. And
Yes.
I know that that was him because all of the self-doubt, all of the ways that I tried to back away from what I was doing, he just kept bringing me back, bringing me back. My first song I ever fully wrote was a Christian
Hmm.
song,
Hmm.
and it was about just the Lord breaking my
Hmm.
chains, taking away my
Hmm.
shame. It was about
Hmm.
freedom, the first song I
Yes.
ever wrote.
Hmm.
It's a more like a demo. It's not a released song, but I just really started to get into writing for the Lord, and I
Hmm.
started to sing the songs around campus, and
Hmm.
even people that weren't believers, they started to respond saying,
Yes.
"Wow, that really moved me." And I
Hmm.
started to feel so much purpose in what I was
Hmm.
doing, especially in the setting of, being in a room with people, worshiping,
Hmm.
sharing the stories behind my original music. It started to mean and grow into so much for me.
Hmm.
And that's honestly where I'm at today. Honestly, no matter how many times I have in the past tried to back away thinking, ah, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe this isn't for me. Time and
Hmm.
time again, the Lord has brought me back to this, and I see the fruit of it in like the live settings when I get to share my music and online as
Hmm.
well. But it's very special for people coming
Hmm.
up to me after the shows, in tears sometimes, just saying, wow, like that really just made me want to have a relationship with Jesus. That moved
Yes.
me. Little kids, that
Hmm.
moved my soul. I mean, it's just so sweet.
Yep.
So that's how I got into music, and that's how
Hmm.
I'm sticking with it.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. And then, of course, you have an incredible single out right now called Funk. Like, what is the
Yeah.
story behind what's the story behind that particular song?
Absolutely. Yes. Funk was a song that was written exactly the way the title sounds. I was in a funk. And
Gotcha.
it honestly goes a little bit into my story of just feeling at times very
Hmm.
insecure and unsure of myself,
Hmm.
that self-doubt. I was having this off day where I was thinking, I just feel like I can't even write a song. I think it had been weeks since I had written a song.
Hmm.
And I was just really down on myself thinking like, what am I doing wrong? I'm just really struggling. And I went
Hmm.
and I talked to my dad, and that was good. I had to get out of my head a little bit. So I went and I talked to him. He's like, "Hey, you know what? The weather's really weird today. You need to just take a break. Like, you'll be okay. Just go take a break and go
Mhm.
do something you love. And I thought, oh, okay.
Mhm.
So I started to take a break, and I really love playing the bass. I am
Mhm.
not
All right.
I'm not like, I'm not playing the bass on the record. That's Jacob Velasquez. But I love playing the bass. And I got on the bass and I
Mhm.
started, just coming up with some stuff, playing around. And then it was like the bass line came into my head. I like to like sing bass lines.
Mhm.
So I was singing the bass line, and then I was just like praying, like, Lord, get me out of this funk. And then the
Mhm.
words kind of all just came together of the song, thinking, "Get me out of this funk that I'm in.
Mhm.
Oh, I need your medicine." And then I was like, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah, yeah.
So I think the
Got
Lord
something.
really put that right in my hand, right in my head,
Mhm.
and I started rolling with it. And
Mhm.
I was just coming up with the bass demo, laying down some keys,
Mhm.
some vocals. It was very simple, and
Mhm.
I ended up bringing it to some friends of mine that I
Mhm.
actually worked on their album as a co-writer
Mhm. Mhm.
for Jake and Sky. They're a young Christian
Mhm.
duo as well,
Mhm.
super awesome. And
Mhm.
I had met them a couple years back working on their album, and I
Mhm.
realized during that time that though he is young, Jacob Velasquez, the boy Jake, was insanely talented at production and every instrument
Yes.
imaginable. So I was like, this is perfect, and I know he knew and got the genre. So him and his
Mhm.
dad really, really got to work. They were excited. They're like, let's do this. They got to work
Mhm.
on just laying down some instruments, production for the track. All the instruments are live, which is such a blessing. And we
Yes,
just
it
have
is.
to thank God for that connection.
Mhm.
And they really came. I was just thinking, let's just get a chorus. Let's record the chorus and see how it goes. And it was so cool.
Mhm.
And we just fine tuned it from there. And I also worked with another friend of mine from school, Michaela
Mhm.
Gatto. She did the
Mhm.
vocals, and we had it mastered by a friend out in Nashville, Dylan Beck. But the story
Nice.
was just, I was just going through it. I was having a real off day. And it was the moment that I stopped trying and I just took a break that God just
Mhm.
gave me that song. And
Mhm.
honestly, that showed me that sometimes it's not about trying to force something
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
God or forcing our work for the kingdom, that oftentimes he will give it as a gift. And to remember that
Mhm.
it is that, a gift, and that the glory is not mine, it's his.
Mhm.
And I just think that's such a cool story behind the song because I wasn't expecting to write a song that day. I had kind of laid up my hands and said, okay,
Mhm.
take a break, I guess.
Mhm.
And then there it was, funk.
Amen. And we definitely appreciate you releasing a song, not only just writing it, but releasing it, because a lot of times uh, creators they'll create a masterpiece, but don't always release it. So we definitely appreciate you releasing it and inspiring others. Because a lot of people sometimes get into the funk, and they just need a song or a prayer to get out of it. So definitely appreciate you. We're about to switch gears a little bit and get into our get to know the artist segment. The first one I have for you is you play bass. So do you have like a favorite bass brand that you like to use, or you just kind of go whatever nearby?
I I honestly don't even remember. I could tell you about guitar. I have a bass. I'm
Okay.
trying to remember what kind of bass I have, and yeah, it's kind of just one of the one of the standard ones. It's white,
Hmm.
very pretty. I
Hmm.
got it from Guitar Center.
Okay. Okay. And what about guitars?
I have a Martin.
Okay. Awesome. I have a couple Fenders, and then I have a Gretsch just on the way.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah. So I'm a big guitar guy. Um, At one point, I had way too many, so I realized I had a problem at the time. So I'm like, yeah, I better cut back on some. But of course, moving along, what would you consider to be your biggest accomplishments so far? One in your personal life, and then two in the music career so far.
Hmm. I would say one of my biggest personal accomplishments, though it is a part of music, I
Hmm.
kind of look at it as a big personal accomplishment, is that
Hmm.
I was able to graduate Berklee College of Music. with a degree
Congratulations.
in music business, which was
Mm-hmm.
such a blessing. I had a scholarship and I did RA and made sure that everything was working out so that I would be able to do that. And I think it was just such an amazing opportunity to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
play with a band and to make so many
Mm-hmm.
cool friends and just meet so many awesome people, learn so much, not just about music, but about life. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that was a really big accomplishment of mine.
Mm-hmm. And then looking back on your career so far, like what do you consider to be your most memorable performance, whether it's good or bad?
Ooh, yeah. I think my most recent performance, the Funk release
Mm-hmm.
concert, was the most memorable one to date. It just felt like
Mm-hmm.
a big culmination of a lot of hard work, not just on my part, but on the band and
Mm-hmm.
everybody that worked on the songs. Because we played
Mm-hmm.
9 original songs, 8 or 9 original songs, and we also threw in a cover,
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude. And this
Mm-hmm.
show really just
Nice.
told a story and started with a couple of my
Mm-hmm.
songs that just talk about the joy of the Lord and then get into a little bit more of the tender moments with dealing with grief and sorrow and loss, and
Mm-hmm.
then looking up at the resurrection and the cross and getting into the party, which is
Mm-hmm.
funk, and some of my other songs. I got a song called Good Thing Planned that is just so much fun and tightrope.
Mm-hmm.
So some more songs, God willing,
Mm-hmm.
to come. And it was such a journey, and it was
Mm-hmm.
really amazing to see people and their reactions
Mm-hmm.
to the music. Whether it was just,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that was a lot
Mm-hmm.
of fun. I really enjoyed that. Or, wow, that really moved me. That touched me. Whatever it was, our
Mm-hmm.
prayer for the show was that the Lord
Mm-hmm.
would be the one to move in people's hearts and that we would be vessels of Him,
Mm-hmm.
that people would be just their hearts would be changed after that. And
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I believe they were. I believe and I trust one in answered prayer, but also I saw it happening on the
Mm-hmm.
night. And it was just such a blessing. We had a radio station come out. We had the
Nice.
New Flow 1071 here in
Mm-hmm.
Denver and had an
Mm-hmm.
awesome Christian rapper supporting me. He was from the
Mm-hmm.
station. Syfy the second was so
Okay.
awesome, and he went to bat for me to be able to have the concert there. He believed in me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it was, it can be challenging to do stuff for an artist that doesn't have a song out yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to
Yeah.
bat for me and he believed in me and said,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta go out for this show, and they showed
Yes.
up and it was so much fun. So
Amazing.
it's been very cool to
Mm-hmm.
see longtime supporters, best friends, people that have been sticking around on TikTok, live streams, always supporting me, social
Mm-hmm.
media, to new people that are coming out and saying, "Hey, this track is really cool. This is
Yeah.
really, really meaningful to me. I worship to this morning." I saw
Mm-hmm.
someone doing a sign language video to it today, and
Oh,
I was just like,
nice.
"Wow,
It's a
that
blessing.
is it, huge blessing, huge blessing."
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to I think it was Sign. I'll have to look. I want to shout her out, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look who it was.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see.
And
I'll
then,
look.
yeah, yeah. We'll make sure we get that shot up in there.
All right. Signs of Light on TikTok. She just
Okay.
did a ASL video of funk, which was super cool.
And we got to make sure that video goes viral. So if you can send that to me as well, so we
I
can
will.
make sure it's heard all over the world. Um, Also, too, how would you? Because a lot of times in the industry, people try to put labels on artists. But how would you describe your signature? So I know you say you like Alicia Keys, Whitney Houston, and a few others. But how would you describe your personal sound?
Yeah, I've used these terms honestly going back to
Hmm.
being in school. I always feel like
Hmm.
I've got a funky, soulful pop Christian artist
Yeah.
vibe going on.
Hmm.
So, funky soul and pop. That's where I think my
But they get.
influences come from, so they kind of just
Hmm.
landed me there. I
Hmm.
am not I like to break the boxes rather than stay inside of them, but I
Hmm.
definitely love that kind of music and I think just aligns with who I am. I feel like
Mhm.
just I just love the Lord, love the joy of the Lord, feel that
Mhm.
energy, the
Mhm.
optimism and the hope that comes from walking with him. So, yeah, funky soulful pop.
I dig it. I dig it. And then this one is a more serious one. Um, when you look back over your life, what was a situation you went through? You really had to lean on God to really get through the situation.
Totally, totally. Well, as some musicians and honestly athletes even know this, being injured in what you're doing.
Hmm.
What I dealt with last year, so in
Hmm.
August, I found out, so I was performing a
Hmm.
lot, doing a lot of just farmers markets, just gigs that I could do. And
Hmm.
I was singing a lot, practicing
Hmm.
many, many hours a day. It was too much, and
Hmm.
it was not proper voice use.
Hmm.
And I ended up finding out that I had vocal nodules and
Hmm.
got that checked out. It's not something
Oh.
that's career ending. It's not something um,
Hmm.
that can't be
Hmm.
managed, but it was very, very challenging to hear those
Hmm.
words and to see that had happened, that I had overdone
Hmm.
it, and that this occurred. And it was very, very hard. The
Hmm.
first day I
Hmm.
broke down, and then from there I was determined. I said, no, I'm
Hmm.
going to get better. I'm gonna figure out what I need to do. And every day I was praying that the Lord would heal me. And
Hmm.
he brought some amazing people into my life. Shout out
Hmm.
Jamie Vendera, my vocal coach that helped me to overcome
Hmm.
and completely recover.
Hmm.
Thank the Lord, completely recover from these nodules. But it was weeks. So I spent a couple weeks of no talking
Hmm.
at all, which was so difficult. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, yeah.
So difficult. And then I wasn't for months. And just singing has always been my expression. Singing has always
Mm,
been what's so important to me, what I love to do. And
mhm,
I lost that for a time. I lost it in order to
mhm,
gain it back, but I lost
mhm.
it. And
Yes.
it was a very difficult time for me. I was very sad
Mhm,
during that time. The evenings were challenging for sure.
mhm,
I was just feeling quite alone. And I knew I just had to
mhm,
lean on the Lord. And I just kept leaning on the Lord, trusting that He was going to get me through this because that was all I could
mhm,
really do. It's not something that goes away overnight. And,
mhm,
I followed what I needed to follow, did my vocal slides, everything. But it was challenging. It was very challenging
mhm.
and it tested my faith, but it grew my faith at the same time
Yes. Mhm,
because while it was happening, I had no guarantee that this would go away
mhm,
because I didn't know the outcome, but I was
mhm,
trusting that he would get me
mhm,
through.
mhm,
And I just thank him every day, and it honestly makes me so much more grateful that I
mhm,
have my voice, that I'm
mhm,
able to sing again, talk again,
mhm,
and use my voice carefully, use my words for
mhm.
him. So
Yes.
that's what I aim to do. That's what I want to
Mhm,
do. And
mhm.
I'm grateful.
I know there's been a few artists that I know personally, family, friends that dealt with that too. Um, I guess looking at the time before you discovered you had that issue, uh, and now, what is the biggest difference you notice in your voice?
Mm. Well, I really got to work with Jamie,
Hmm.
my vocal coach, on
Hmm.
really good technique. So
Hmm.
we really, really hammered what is solid technique. And
Hmm.
I, thank goodness, have noticed that my voice feels stronger. I feel like
Hmm.
I am now able to withstand, the multi-hour gigs that
Hmm.
sometimes I have to do or recording sessions or
Hmm.
different things. And I know how to manage it. I know what I need to do, how much water I need to be drinking, all of the kind of
Mhm.
silly background things. But I was able to really hone in on my technique, and I just think my voice got stronger, my voice got more
Mhm.
capable, and he always tells me, you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be afraid of nodules. You know what? Even if you've had them once before, you can get
Mhm.
rid of them, so you don't need to be afraid.
Yeah. Mhm.
And there's some moments in funk that I he was really challenging me towards the end, like you gotta
Mhm.
go higher, you gotta go off, you gotta
Mhm.
do this. So I really
Mhm.
just went all in with some of those ad libs and really went for it. So I think that it brought me more courage actually as a
Mhm.
singer than I had
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, because I know some people when they was dealing with that, saying like their energy levels was like very low. Did you experience that as well?
I think it was anything more like emotional and spiritually
Hmm.
feeling down, just dealing with it, but
Hmm.
it wasn't anything really physical that I
Hmm.
noticed. It was more just
Okay.
the weight of not being sure.
Hmm. Okay. Awesome. And then the next one I have for you, like when you look back over your life, who has been the most impactful person or people to help shape who you are today?
Hmm. I think that's that's hard because there's so many people that
Hmm.
I would love to talk about right now. I think Okay, so I'm gonna share a phrase that one of my
Hmm.
vocal coaches once told me. This isn't who I'm
Hmm.
pointing to, but
Hmm.
she told me once, all you ever need is one person to
Hmm.
believe in you. That's all you'll ever need to be able to do this. That was back when I was a teenager. So she told me that.
Hmm.
And in that moment, and since then, I've always known I will always have one, and that is my mom. My
Hmm.
mom is always going to be my one. I have so
Hmm.
many others, my grandma, my dad, everybody, but my
Yeah.
mom is is a day one big
Hmm.
time supporter of me. She will, as much as she let me think she was gonna, be okay with me not singing, she never gave up on me. She always believed I would sing, and every day she believes in me. She encourages me. She reminds me why I do what I do, and she's just a very, very special woman in my life, and I'm very grateful for her. She's my one who I know will always believe in me, and there's so many more. So I know,
Hmm.
thank the Lord, there's not just one, but
Yes.
I know that if I ever needed just one person to believe in
She
me,
got you.
to encourage
Yeah.
me to keep going, she's got me.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Amen. And then, of course, do you have like a top five all-time artists list? And it could be from any genre.
Okay. Yes. I got it. Okay. So it's going to be a little all over the place, not necessarily ranked. So I'm trying to sort this in my head right now. We're going to put, let me see here. I'm going to put, ooh, okay. I'm trying to think. I think I've got six. I'll just do it quick. Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, Adele, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Stevie Wonder, Yeba, and Madison Ryan Ward. It's seven. It's seven. Okay, it's seven.
Okay.
But those are my people. Those are
Okay.
those are my artists.
And big shout out to Madison Ryan Ward. She's from a place called Lawton, Oklahoma, and that's not too far from here, you know.
Nice.
So big shout out to her and her family as well. She's doing some amazing things
Yes.
in her career. That'd be cool if you guys can do like a duet or something or collab some kind of way. I think
Madison.
that'd be crazy good right there. Before we let you go, I know you have some more music coming, but what else should we expect from you the rest of this year as well as 2026?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I got a chance to go out to Nashville
Hmm.
over the past couple weeks, and I got a chance to write with some amazing writers. And
Hmm.
Funk was pretty much, written by me and produced and worked on with some other friends. This
Hmm.
was my first opportunity to go out to Nashville and work with some people that are working with other amazing
Hmm.
artists out there already, rocking the scene. And
Hmm.
it really blew my mind. It really blew my mind to work with them, and we came out with some songs that I love, and I haven't even gotten the demos back for a couple of them, so I'm here just with you waiting to hear it as well. But I'm beyond looking forward to it, and
Hmm.
that's what I have to look forward to. So I'd say that's what you guys will have to look forward to as well, which is more music produced with some really amazing writers and producers out in Nashville, which was such a blessing.
Hmm. I know it's going to be amazing because I'll say a good 90, 99% of the time when you connect with like some folks out of Nashville, the quality is always top tier. So I know it's going to be amazing. So we're definitely looking forward to hearing it and playing it. Also, too, can you share your social media pages and how the listeners can sow a seed into your ministry?
Thank you. Yeah, so on socials, it's always going to be at Morgan Starner Music, Morganstarner Music. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook at Morgan Starner Music. And let's see. I also have a website, morganstarner.com, so you can check me out
Hmm.
there as well. And
Hmm.
as for supporting my ministry, I have a link in my bios on
Hmm.
Instagram and TikTok to a place called Buy Me a Coffee, which is one way that
Hmm.
you can
Nice.
support, and it's fun. And I should also have some other links to
Hmm.
other sharing. I'm trying to think of what
Hmm.
they're called, the like Venmo, those things.
Hmm.
I should also have a couple of those listed, and if I don't, I'll add them.
And
But that's one way, and also I will be one other thing we can be looking forward to is
hmm
merch. I'll be putting up
yeah.
some merch. I'll have
Hmm.
vinyls, CDs,
Hmm.
shirts,
Hmm.
hats for funk, maybe even some stickers. So make sure you stay tuned for that because that's
Hmm.
coming for sure.
And for the people that don't know, vinyl is making a strong comeback, guys. So if you can get your hands on one of vinyls, definitely get it because it's definitely a collectibles item, and you can still play it to this day. So go ahead and get that. Break out the record player if you have one. If you don't have one, go on Amazon or go into Walmart or Best Buy, grab one because these vinyls are taking over again, and I'm pretty sure funk is going to be even more of a hit on the vinyl because it has that old school feel. And if you're using the old school record player, it's really going to push through. So definitely go get that. And I know you mentioned on your site it says buy me coffee. So do you have a favorite coffee?
Oh, yes. I like an iced caramel latte with oat
Hmm.
milk from any place. You don't have to put an order, but that's my jam. Also for the vinyls, there is a
Hmm.
secret bonus B-side track on there. So if you get the
Nice,
vinyl, you'll get to hear another one of my tracks before it's released.
nice. And speaking of tracks, if you, I know you earlier you said you had did a song and it was mainly a demo. Maybe you can bring that back, or guys, it might even be that side B. You never know. So we have to we have to stay tuned and be locked in and whatever thing she's doing, and definitely support. And I have one more question before we let you go. When people come to a Morgan Starner event, what should they expect?
Oh man. Well, they should definitely expect to go on a journey that might look
Hmm.
a little bit like their own faith journey, whether
Hmm. Yes.
it has been a lot like marked with joy, marked with a lot of
Hmm.
rejoicing. You'll have that. If your journey has had its bumps and has had those
Hmm.
moments where you've needed to call out to Jesus as your savior, which we all
Hmm.
have, you'll find that. You'll find the moments of rejoicing, like funk, and just being able
Hmm.
to dance and be real about your faith, but still have a lot of fun with it. You'll also
Yeah.
find some ballads. You'll find
Hmm.
moments that really tug on your heartstrings. I
Yes.
think I love being able to do music because you're able to express so many things through it. So
Hmm.
I think it's going to be a journey that hopefully will reflect not just my faith but yours too.
Amen. And would you like to do us the honors of introducing funk? before we
Yes,
play it?
sir.
All right.
My name is
Cool.
Morgan Starner, and this is my brand new song, Funk.
All right, you heard it from lady herself. Coming up right now, we have Funk by Morgan Starner. Keep it locked here on the Inter ReShard Show.